right, 7 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. It's Tuesday morning, and that means it's time for Carol Ann Baldwin to bring you her program called In the Garden with Carol Ann. Let me just give you a real quick look at the weather. It's 48 degrees right now, 68 the expected high today, 40 the expected low tonight, and then I'm only bringing it up, Carol Ann, because it affects our gardens, right? 54 the expected high tomorrow, and then 25 the expected low Wednesday night.
Yeah,
So just
it's gonna be cold.
Gonna be another one. But isn't the damage already done? So don't we have like nothing to worry about right now? Because
pretty much
they're all dead anyway,
it's
right?
already fried.
Yeah,
It is. So yeah, I'm done with it. Winter needs to end.
You are not a New Jersey girl anymore, are you?
I never really was. I hated the cold then. I hate that.
Did you really?
I mean, there at least you had proper weight clothing or proper clothing. I mean,
guess,
here, when you go and buy a pair of blue jeans in the store here, the denim, the fabric is actually different.
Is it really?
It's a different weight than what you'd buy up north. Sweatshirts, same thing. So, I have a sweatshirt and a vest here. They're great, but they're very lightweight. It's just.
It's not like what you need.
It's not. Yeah, it's not the same stuff.
So you need
just
to take
check what's. Actually, feel something. If anybody's been up north recently, and maybe they got up there and they got cold, so they ran to Walmart and picked up a sweatshirt or something like that, or they ran somewhere, and feel that compared to one you have at home that you bought here locally.
Never thought, really.
And yes, the fabrics are a little bit different. They're a little. Well, that and we don't necessarily own that many pairs of warm clothes or that many sweaters.
Yeah, right.
Many of my long sleeve shirts are, they're SPF. They're meant to keep the sun off me.
True. Yeah.
They're water wicking kind of things. They're fast drying. They're not warm. So we have to dress in lots of layers so that as the day warms up, like today, it started out fairly chilly, not as bad as it's going to be, when you wake up, what is that, Wednesday morning to Thursday. And that, my understanding, that's going to be an 11-hour hard freeze. So it's some stuff we may see some further damage. Your other stuff that's already fried, it's fried. If they're tropicals or things like that, yes, I would probably go through a little extra effort to try to continue to protect them, realizing you're not going to find a frost blanket in Marion County. And it's a little late to order them on Amazon.
Because it's tomorrow night.
It's tomorrow night. Yeah, it's just one of those things. But if you've got, pine straw, if you've got, wood mulch, or you have your chipper shredder and you can run all those branches through there and just make something there. Just piling, any of that is going to just insulate it because it's going to hold the ground warmth in there. And you're protecting kind of the root zone and the stems. The top of it, there's not much you're going to do for that. It's, and I just put on, Facebook on the In the Garden page. So anybody who's not new listener, or maybe you're new to Facebook or something like that, I have it in the page for In the Garden. Just ask to join, and we'll get you on board on that. But I did post that what was it? 63 days till spring, but I'm not counting. Oh yes, I am. I'm counting. I can't wait. I want warm weather. I'm finished.
You are a Florida girl.
I definitely. I've been here. I've been here long enough that I hate the cold. So. Yeah,
there was this is kind of a way off topic question, but it is about a plant, a tree. When we went to Animal Kingdom for the New Year's thing we did, they had some trees there. I imagine they weren't real, although they looked real, but they were called upside down trees. Or trees of life, not to be confused with the centerpiece of Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
But have you ever heard of these things? They look like the roots. Well, it looks like the roots are the ones pointing to the sky, which of course that wouldn't be the case.
Right. I don't know if I've seen those or not. I'm just trying to find my Weather Channel real quick.
Anyway, I just wondered about it because it didn't look like it had any leaves. It didn't look like it had a way to produce photosynthesis.
So it may have actually been more of a succulent.
Oh,
Possibly.
okay. That would explain.
Was it brown?
Yes.
Bark?
Yes, like an upside down tree is what it looked like.
Okay, I'm gonna look up upside down tree. Upside.
Yeah.
Yeah, never heard of an upside down tree. Well, I mean, okay.
Is it in there? Does it come
European? Up? No, that's a European. That's for Christmas trees.
I believe this was Africa where you would find these, or maybe India. I'm not really sure.
No, these are all like a Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing.
I'm typing in an upside down tree of life is what I put in here.
Okay.
Because that's what they were calling a tree of life or upside down tree. Oh, well, never mind.
Oh, did you get something weird?
No, I got the internet crapping out on me.
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
Yeah.
Upside down tree of life. We'll get to see what we get.
Oh my gosh.
It's all right. That one's just good.
Oh yeah. Okay, there's a picture over here. I found one. Okay. So here's the picture. Let's see what it says on the picture. This is a stupid question. It has nothing to do with anybody here in Ocala.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I clicked on it. I did find it. Yes, the upside down tree of life. Yeah, it doesn't look like it has any means to create photosynthesis. It looks like a bunch of roots sticking up to the sky.
See if I can get some better pictures. I got one with a really giant trunk.
Baobab. B-A-O-B-A-B. Baobab?
Baobab?
B-A-O-B-A-B is what they call it. The tree of life. It towers 20 meters over the landscape.
And right, the little branches, I mean, there's branches that, like you say, it does look like the main root system and then little feeder roots off the tips.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
I don't know whether or not.
It looks like a dead tree, I guess you might say.
Yeah, it does. I'm just wondering how, yeah.
You know what it looks like? It looks like an artist who doesn't know how to draw trees. Right?
Kind of, because it is very large trunked.
Right.
Yeah, and it probably. I'm wondering if it is not a like a type of succulent, like a brain freeze here. You had the internet crash. My brain did.
It says they're probably 1,000 years old. Wow.
Yeah, that's and I mean, based on the size of them, it does look like that. Oh, see, now I'm seeing one here that does actually have leaves on it.
Oh, okay.
They're just very
can't
small. Yeah, they're very small. Or there's a good chance that during that certain times of year they don't have any. It's an endangered tree.
Is it?
So yeah, oops, don't do.
Disney makes fake ones. I think
No,
they're fake.
it's possible it's fake, but they may have gotten permission to bring one in.
Really, you think?
You know, if it's something that, especially because the way Disney does a lot of their stuff, they may be doing tissue culture, where they may actually be cloning said tree, and that, which, you know, just like a zoo, you know, botanical gardens, places like, you know, Disney could be assisting in preventing the extinction of certain species of plants, and it could be that, I mean, it's possible theirs is a fake one, but no, I'm not sure. You'd have to go up and look and see if
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm on your Facebook page now. And Carolyn mentioned it earlier. There is a companion Facebook page that goes with this radio show, which I think is awesome. So if you have something visual you'd like to share with everybody, go to In the Garden on Facebook, and that's Carol Ann's page.
That's my page.
Post a photo of your tree. You know, my Sega palm is now just a stump. Because I cut all the branches according to your recommendation. In fact, here's the thing. Well, here's what happened. I'm over there cutting everything off, right?
Right.
And my neighbor comes over and she says, "Is that what we're supposed to do with them?"
Oh.
And I said, "Well, no, only if it looks like this, where they're all dead looking."
Right.
And I said, "Because Carol Ann told me." and then you spray it with agricultural oil, right?
The horticulture,
horticultural oil.
Same different, agriculture, horticulture.
Which I didn't get yet, so.
I have some in my car.
Oh, I'm not asking for any. Is it expensive? I can just.
No, actually, I got a couple bottles because we clearanced it out, and I got them for like 63 cents a bottle.
Really?
So I got 2 little pints, which
But
is
I
a
mean,
lot.
what is it? I mean, if I just sprayed vegetable oil, that wouldn't work?
It's hard to get the vegetable oil to blend with water in order to spray.
Oh.
Because you wouldn't want to put a sticky coat of just,
Right.
The horticultural oils, the neem oils, things like that are, just a very thin oil. I mean, we always used to say that you could use some vegetable oil in like your dish soap and oil mix because the dish soap's going to help the oil helps it stick and
Break
things
down.
like that.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it just does things like that to help too. So.
That would be an interesting book you could write. Is this little like shortcuts?
Oh yeah, the little hacks.
Yeah, hacks. That's
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
yeah.
garden hacks.
Little garden hacks, little things you can do, just simple things and many of them are just little things that we learn over time and little bits and pieces that that you can do.
So, what is the biggest mistake somebody makes in Florida regarding the intermittent cold, freezing
weather
temperatures? Here?
is two different things. One, they use plastic.
And that's a mistake
That's
because
a mistake because it'll freeze right to your plants. It's not the best thing. You can use plastic in a different way, but here's another thing: is that the frost blanket's laying right on top of the plants, and I'm sure everybody in a lot of different places does that because wherever that touches, that's still going to freeze. And that your frost blanket needs to come all the way to the ground, or your sheets, or your quilts, things like that. But if you can take a couple little bamboo sticks, or the palm fronds sticks, things like that, and make something to hold that up off the top of the plants, it's not resting on there, giving more of a tenting effect, allowing the ground's warmth to help keep the warm temperatures under there. Now, if you did a kind of thing, had a neighbor who actually did this last year, and I'm surprised he didn't do it this year. Like your easy up canopies, they put that over top and then covered the outside with tarpaulins.
that makes sense.
And it made a hothouse. It had no sun, so they had to open it up. It's not touching anything, so it's not allowing
that's a good idea.
to burn.
I like that idea.
You could even use your little beach umbrellas. Poke that spike in the ground.
Sure, yeah, that
your
sounds
umbrella's over it. Then you could throw your plastic so long as it's not touching anything. But it would allow you to cover a much larger area.
That's a good idea.
With, just a large piece of something. Just make sure your plastic doesn't touch. And if it is plastic, you got to take that off during the day because the sun shines on that. And next thing you know, though it's only 40 degrees outside, it might be 80 under there. And then that temperature drops again and boom, you got another burn.
We are up against the break. Let's take that break and we'll be right back. Carol Ann does this show each Tuesday. She volunteers to do this, by the way. It's important that I mention that. And it's an hour-long show. That's important, too, because it means you've got plenty of time to have a question answered about your lawn, your garden, anything associated with agriculture, for example. All is good. 622-9622 is the phone number if you want to call in. Carol Ann will answer your question. We will all learn from the exchange between you and she, and we will be right back.
Are you in need of custom screen printing, embroidery, or promotional items? Then look no further and come visit the brand new Legacy Team Sales. LTS is conveniently located off 17th Street next to Armstrong Homes in beautiful Ocala. We offer the best prices and highest quality products for your company, team, school, or nonprofit. Whether looking for screen printed shirts, embroidered polos, or travel team uniforms, you'll be sure to find it at Legacy Team Sales. Come visit our new 27,000 square foot facility. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales staff will assist you in every part of your custom purchase. LTS carries the hottest brands in the industry like Under Armour, Russell, Mizuno, Asics, Badger Sports, Gildan, Pacific, Ogio, and many more. At LTS, screen printing embroidery is done in-house and we guarantee customer satisfaction. Stop by, give us a call, or check us out on the web at shoplts.com. Remember the name, LTS.
In this moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you to who? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens. In this moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Visit George Mangan Insurance in Ocala today at manganinsurance.com.
Hi, Brittany here from Mike Scott Plumbing. We're well into the new year, the world didn't end, and now you have all those New Year resolutions you haven't even started on. So here's an idea. Take the money you are going to waste on those late night infomercials for some weight loss gadget that doesn't even work, and do something that will work. Like a new bathtub, or that new kitchen sink you've had your eye on. Not only will it look good, but it would add value to your home. Did you know that Mike Scott Plumbing has a brand new showroom just across from the new Brownwood Square, in addition to the main showroom in Hernando? So wherever you are, it's just a short drive away. Let our showroom specialists get you one step closer to the kitchen and bath of your dreams. Call us today, 237-2888. That's 237-2888. And check us out on the web, MikeScottPlumbing.com. And remember, if water runs through it, we do it. Mike Scott Plumbing.
All right, 23 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's return to Carol Ann Baldwin. The show is called In the Garden with Carol Ann. Remember, your questions are an important part of the show, so you're invited to make a phone call to Carol Ann right now. The number is 352-622-9622.
Yep. And came in this morning, and Robin had quite a stack of different prizes or giveaways or whatever it is for us this morning. Actually, 4 different things. But this time we are going to give them away individually.
That's a good idea, yeah.
So that it's not just one giant prize pack to one, to one person, especially being some of these are a little bit time sensitive, that they're activities to go to, and not everybody's got the time. So why don't we go ahead and I guess we can, I don't know how you want to do it on our next break.
Do it on the break. You can tell them what it is.
Okay, but
because the break is only 6 minutes away. So.
Right. So in about 6 minutes, I've got a pair of tickets to Cirque Italia that is coming up. Then I guess this is for the show on Thursday, January the 25th at 7:30. And this is, if you've never been to Cirque Italia, it's at the Italian Water Circus, featuring a stage that holds 35,000 gallons of water that performers dazzle over while thrilling the audience in every circus arts move. For the first time ever, they're saying the Gold Unit is coming to Ocala with a state-of-the-art water show that you don't want to miss. And so this is a pair of tickets for Thursday, January the 25th. And the location is over at the Livestock Pavilion. So if you're familiar with that area, Yoke County Extension's over there. They have the rodeos over there. I don't know why my brain lost that one. But we've got a pair of tickets for that. And so on the break, we'll go ahead and give away a couple of those.
Somebody texted you wanting to know, can we get horse manure from the local horse farms? Do they do that?
Some of them will. And I think we touched a little on that last week, to be careful getting manure off of just a farm unless you've talked to them. Sometimes pastures are treated with herbicides in order to keep certain weeds that are detrimental to the horses or the cattle or cow from being in those pastures. And when the livestock consumes those grasses and they consume those herbicides, they're not always digested out, and so it comes out in the manure.
Well, that's interesting.
And that when you do the manure into your garden, it could actually be killing things in your garden.
Wow. Well, how you wouldn't know? You
would not know unless you asked the farm. So
yeah.
It would be somebody, you would have to kind of know them or know what, or ask the question, hey, do you treat, your pasture with anything? If they say no, no, or this is coming out of the stalls, doesn't matter if it's coming out of the stalls, it's where the horse ate. You want horse manure in particular to compost quite a bit, because weed seeds, cows have more stomachs and digest more of that a little longer. But it's still what we call a hot fertilizer, high nitrogen fertilizer. So you want that to compost down for several months. And even the composting may not destroy or get rid of or eliminate that herbicide. So do be very careful and talk to,
Would that be true also for like the llamas and the other animals that
if their pastures are treated with herbicides? But I think sometimes when you get some of these other a little more exotic animals, they're not treating their pastures just because that the animals are a little more like pets a little bit, or that you're raising them for some of that manure, because they say llama is like the best manure out there. It can be used fresh.
We had a lady who used to bring us llama beans.
Yeah, llama beans, yeah. And my understanding, it's one of few, or I think like the only natural animal manure that can be used in its fresh state without burning your plants.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm not positive. Maybe if they're listening or anything, or anybody knows anything further on that. But that, if I'm remembering right, that was my understanding. Is that's one that can be used fresh right out of the depositor.
We are just about a minute and 40 seconds away from needing to take a break. So what we'll do during the break is we'll take a phone call, and that one person will win the 2 tickets to the Circuit Italia.
Right.
And it sounds like fun. Robin went one year with her mom, and it's going to be at the Southeastern Livestock
Pavilion, right? And so pretty much when you call, we're going to need your phone number, because I guess this is that you'll get a voucher. Or or a gate call kind of thing. It looks like.
Yeah.
So same kind of thing like when we do the Civic Theater.
All right, so we'll take a little break right now. If you want to call in to win the tickets, this is a good time to call. You will not have to answer any questions. You will not be on the air. But if I pick you as one of the phone calls, then you'll get the 2 tickets to this. Okay, Cirque Italia. The Italian Circus.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high of 66 to 70. Clear to partly cloudy Tuesday night, lows generally in the 40s and near 50. For Wednesday, intervals of clouds and sun and beginning to turn cooler, especially in the northern part of the zone, with highs in the 50s to low 60s there, low 70s in the southernmost part.
I think that was our cue, Carolyn. We just
sitting there talking and you watched it. Boom. Oh, wait, that was for us.
It just disappeared. All right, let's return now to Carol Ann Baldwin in the Garden with Carol Ann. The number is 622-9622. You got any questions? Don't worry about it if you think maybe we covered this already, because sometimes somebody, you're
not the only one who missed it.
I think the cold weather questions are probably very common, and so you're probably going to have them more than once. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Well, that's the truth. It doesn't matter how much you know about gardening. You always need to learn more.
There's always more to learn.
Oh, gosh. It's endless, wonderful learning. So thank you for your program.
Oh.
So, hi, Larry and Carolyn. This is Lauren.
Hey, Lauren.
Long time no hear.
Yes. Well, I'm blessed to be back in Florida from New Jersey. I just heard that story about the bat biting the boy, scratching the boy, and him contracting rabies. And my heart and all our hearts, I'm sure, go out to the family.
Definitely.
I don't know if that happens. Don't know if that happened locally, but many years ago, I was scratched by a bat up in New York, only because I was walking on my friend's property, and we walked past an outbuilding, and startled them, and out comes the bat and scratches me on the hand. So, well, long story short, of course, I had to get all the rabies shots, because they said, no, by the time you're experiencing problems,
it's too late.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but I never researched thoroughly, but it's such a small percentage of the bat population that actually carries rabies.
True.
I mean,
True.
How tragic that. I mean, that was probably like so.
Right. But see now, like the bat you encountered was up roosting. You all come through the areas, startled them, they come out, but apparently a healthy bat. This one was the father had found or discovered an injured or sick bat and put it in a bucket, told the child not to touch, And so it was one that, here we already had a beginning. It is tragic. It is horribly tragic, and especially because I think in the whole world that they've only cured rabies a little better than maybe a dozen times after it was actually contracted. So it is nearly fatal. I would probably say 99% of the time it would be fatal upon, on that. So that was just, anytime you come in contact with an injured, feral animal, wild animal, it's better to, leave them alone for one. And should you be scratched, is more than just go washing your hands. I think it's prudent to go have treatment. I actually know someone who was had a bite by a possum, and possums rarely carry rabies. But to be on the safe side, she too went through and had the rabies vaccines. I have my sister-in-law. She was bitten by a possum also. She was told, not really a big thing to worry about. She didn't have rabies shots and she was fine. So you don't ever know.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it was just so sad to hear that. Really,
most definitely.
Yeah.
I feel for their family.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, bats are, such wonderful creatures, and, a lot of people have a negative opinion about them, but, like you said, I didn't know that one was injured, so but, and people of Florida, even when it gets cold, please, you have to understand, coming back from up north, where one of my poodles actually was trying to stand on one paw outside because the ground was so horribly frozen cold with snow and ice, so I don't mind putting on a jacket down here at all. So thank you so much.
Yeah, that's true.
So have a great gardening day.
All right, thank you, and thanks for calling in.
Thank you. Good to hear from you, Lauren. All right, let me squeeze in another one. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yeah, good morning. Georgia is having water wars with everybody. They've been having a long, dragged-out affair with Tennessee and Alabama, also over the access to different rivers in that area. So it's not a new thing for Georgia.
No. And it's not a new battle between Georgia and Florida either. I mean, this has been going on for years. It is one of those tough things, though. Agriculturally, they need it. We need it for an agricultural industry or aquacultural industry. It's just one of those things. It's just hard to make that
about 30 years ago, a dam in northern Georgia collapsed, and it was never replaced.
Right.
And so that has lended more to the water woes of Georgia than previously.
Right. Because they had a reservoir above that dam that allowed them to have their amount while the rest continued to flow down and follow nature's trail.
Okay, have a good day.
You too. Thanks for the call.
If I could just interject one thing.
Yeah.
It is an old story.
Yeah.
However, it's in the news today because the Supreme Court is looking at the case.
Right.
That's what makes it today's news.
Story, right.
And the reason that's important is because the Supreme Court sets precedents.
Right.
So whatever they decide is now applicable to similar situations all over the country.
Right.
And that's the part we have to worry about here in Central Florida because South Florida has wanted our water for a long time.
Right. But unless they've had access to it for an extended time, again, I think it's just a matter of those, something that has been ongoing, and then it's a dispute now on, hey, wait a minute, we don't want to send that much.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we have to be good stewards of the water we do have. I mean, it is not an infinite supply of fresh water. We don't wish to get to a point where, I mean, we already do, in a way, ration water for irrigation in our landscapes.
Right.
Which is, to me, that's fine. Your landscape is not so important to your life as agriculture is to all of our lives. You know, your lawn, needing water is I'm not going to go out there and munch your St. Augustine. I'm sorry. Yeah. But the cow that grazes on the pasture down the road, yes, I may have part of that cow for dinner, or the milk from that cow,
right.
you know, and things like that. So
yeah. I think my point was just to defend my decision to include that in as a news item.
Most certainly.
And again, I know it's an old story, but it's the Supreme Court looking at it is today.
Yes, and
the implications are what I was
very long. Yeah,
thinking needed to be brought up.
I
think we have another phone call. Good morning. You're on there with Carol Ann.
Good morning, Carol Ann, Larry.
Hey, Sonny.
You know, what bothers me with all this stuff with the water is our culture is so used to having this available, and if it isn't available, taking it from one place, using it at another place before it eventually goes to the sea. And Larry mentioned that this one spot in Georgia had a dam. Well, once the dam filled the reservoir, or the reservoir was full, the overflow went down and there was no problem before. But the idea is if you rebuild that dam, it's going to be months or a year before that water is replaced where it once was.
Right.
And during that time, there'll be nothing flowing down the river that...
that feeds further down, that feeds further down. And then too, with it seems as if many of the lakes and rivers and things like that the water is down just because of how much possibly that we pull out of the ground, and that replacing that dam, trying to redo that reservoir to serve that area may not be feasible, that it may not fill properly to do that, and that you would cause drought and other economic as well as more than just economic problems further down the river line.
Well, the other point being is every place has a potential limit as to population, as to not just population, as to the things that are there, or the animals, etc.
Right.
And Mother Nature takes care of that.
That's right.
But we are so, I guess, advanced that we intervene.
Right.
But we never realize the consequences of intervening with the natural flow of things.
That's true.
And I don't know. To me, the Supreme Court should have never heard the case, number one. Number two, you're talking about states' rights and everything when you talk about this stuff, because what happens in Georgia affects Florida, etc. Now, if the states can't work it out, there's something wrong. Either they got too much population in one spot, or not enough, or whatever the case is.
Well, that's why it goes up further up the chain, is because the two states or the other states cannot come to an agreeable solution. So within our country and our checks and balances, I know that has nothing to do with gardening on this part of it, but that's why we have those further up ways of helping to solve it, the dispute. I mean, when you have two children on the school ground that fight over a ball, somebody could say, well, it's his ball, he can take it and go home with it, and the other child says, but I paid 5 cents towards it, and so part of it's mine. And so then the school teacher says, no, I'm taking the ball, and neither of you will play with it. That's almost where we're, hopefully that's not where we're going, but that's the decision has to go up further up a chain of command, I guess you might say. But it's all, it's all going to be watered on the way it is.
It's not part of gardening. I think it does eventually, to use a pun, trickle down to whatever we're doing here.
Sure, the irrigation and things like that, it does. But I mean, just the political portions of it is what I guess I'm going for.
You live up, say, in Live Oak or something like that, you can be well affected by what they're doing to the Swanee River before it gets to Florida.
Oh, most certainly.
So, this is the story, but the thing is, if you start looking at the overall, you take everything into account, in other words.
Right, you have to look at the whole picture. Right.
Somebody's doing something wrong somewhere, whether you're building these super developments or you're doing whatever they're doing here up in, near Fort McCoy there, that ranch,
the cattle ranch,
Storch, I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah,
that has that cattle operation there, and he wants lots of water. And it seems that the state all of a sudden, or the border districts, acquiesced to whatever he wanted. But I was very busy with that in the county a couple of years ago when he first proposed this.
Oh, sure, and that's and it's something that has to be.
But anyway, the thing is, it's nice that we have your program, and your program thing has the flexibility, thanks to WOCA, to talk about these things. But basically, they do eventually affect the stuff that we eat and grow, and the people down below. And,
that's true.
The old story, S flows downhill.
That's it. Sure does. Yeah. Sure does.
But anyway, thanks again for the program. Thank you for everything. And it's totally different than what I wanted to talk about. But anyway,
that's all right, Sonny. Thanks for the call.
And you're welcome to call back after the break if you want to have a different subject. The one thing I want to point out, I think it's interesting that the oyster guys are called oyster farmers.
Yes, well, they do farm. They have licenses to do in that area.
All right, let's take that little break. Did you want to give away tickets to the theater?
Yeah, let's give away a couple tickets to the Ocala Civic Theater's production, I Love a Piano, which is going from January 11th through February the 4th.
Yeah, and we went to see this. I went to see it with Robin, and it was really, if you enjoy the musical,
and
it's the songs of Irving Berlin, and it was pretty good.
Great. So anybody wants tickets, give us a call here during the break.
A $50 prize.
$50 prize.
We'll be right back with Caroline.
Hi, Brittany here from Mike Scott Plumbing. We're well into the new year. The world didn't end, and now you have all those New Year resolutions you haven't even started on. So here's an idea. Take the money you were going to waste on those late night infomercials for some weight loss gadget that doesn't even work, and do something that will work. Like a new bathtub, or that new kitchen sink you've had your eye on. Not only will it look good, but it would add value to your home. Did you know that Mike Scott Plumbing has a brand new showroom just across from the new Brownwood Square, in addition to the main showroom in Hernando? So wherever you are, it's just a short drive away. Let our showroom specialists get you one step closer to the kitchen and bath of your dreams. Call us today, 237-2888. That's 237-2888. And check us out on the web, MikeScottPlumbing.com. And remember, if water runs through it, we do it. Mike Scott Plumbing.
Tired of looking at stained carpets, dirty tile, or grout? Call Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. Make your flooring look great again. Stains, pet odors, allergies. Call Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. From serving our country to serving our community. Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. Residential and commercial. Their work is guaranteed along with your satisfaction. Check their website, silverbackrestoration.com.
All right, 10 minutes to 10 o'clock. Wow, the time flies. Caroline Baldwin is here. If you have a question, you want to call in. The number is 622-9622. Remember, it's going to be cold.
It will be cold tomorrow night, an 11-hour hard freeze. That's temperatures.
It's a long time, isn't it?
It's temperatures down below 30, 32 degrees, which I think they're saying 24, 25 degrees for us for about 11 hours. And so that's a long time. There can be damage to plants that are not normally damaged in our freezes and things like that. So a little extra precaution on some of your plants. Bring in the pets, bring in the containerized plants if you can, only because those are really going to freeze. Those are going to more than likely get more damage than they would,
Do you know what is interesting? If we went to the, the wine place, the Lake Ridge Winery.
Yeah.
And when you go out, you just have to stand at the edge of the property, and you'll see the machine that they use to harvest the grapes.
Right.
It's amazing that it can pull the grapes off of those plants without hurting the plants.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really, I don't think it actually pulls, because ripe grapes
really?
will, if you just go through, if you go to a You Pick grape place and you go through and you put your hands underneath and just kind of like tickle the bunch of grapes, they'll drop off in your hands.
Oh, I
the
didn't know
ripe
that.
ones will. So they probably just really need to go through and bump them or bounce them, and that they will gently just
straddles.
Just slide in
straddles the line.
Right.
And then I guess, like you're
Goes
saying, maybe the
underneath.
little things tickle them or
goes through.
something.
I do want to hit one little thing, just because it was something I remembered, and just noticing our weather and our cold weather. And what do we got? Groundhog's Day is in little less than 3 weeks.
Oh, I love Groundhog.
And Groundhog Day
With
is always
mustard.
the one that, supposed to be what's telling us when spring is coming and things like that.
Right.
Well, I've always had mine. Remember my thunderstorms?
Mm-hmm.
We've not yet had one.
Uh-oh.
We've had a couple rain, but none of them have been accompanied by
need a couple
thunder.
of thunderstorms.
We need a couple of thunderstorms going here, folks, because I put on there. We got 63 days until spring. Yes, I'm counting. We need to usher in, do some thunderstorm dances or something.
Otherwise, we're going to be stuck in winter.
We're going to be cold all the way to the end of spring, to the beginning of spring.
You ready for the phone?
Sure.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning, Carolyn. I know it's going to be several hours of cold, but if you bring the plants in under a shelter like your front porch or back canopy or whatever, and cover them, is that going to be enough cover for? I know you can bring them in the garage, but the garage gets really cold too.
True. If they're up against the house, things like that, it's going to help. But like I said, this is going to be an 11. They're calling for 11 hours of the temperatures being down below freezing. That's cold. That's I'm not sure if just having them up against the house is going to be enough this time. Or in the garage kind of thing. Unless in the garage, even I would probably still be nestling them with some blankets and things just to help to keep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, couldn't you leave your garage light on? That would help.
That would maybe help a little bit. At least in a garage, if you had a space heater, at least that's heat staying within an area. But use caution with any space heaters and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
It's going to be a tough one for us this year. It's going to be a tough one.
All right.
All right. Thanks for the call. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right, phone lines are open if you want to call in. The number is 622-9622. Got 6 minutes.
6 minutes left.
Just 6 minutes.
And I did look at the 10-day forecast from the Weather Channel kind of thing. And really, in the next 10 days, there's not a whole lot of rain chance. So we're not getting our thunderstorms on that. But the temperatures besides this one that we've got here look much more seasonal. After you get past the Wednesday with the 55 and 24, Thursday is cold also, but Friday you've got high of 60, low of 34, and then it's creeping back up. And when we do come down just a little bit, what is that? The Saturday, the 26th, or Friday the 26th. It's, chilly again, but it's like 69 and 52, 67 and 50, 67 and 46. So much more seasonal on that, at least within the next 10 days. So we just have to get through this cold front. And then, at least for a little while, we will be a little more normal for that, but don't expect your plants to come back. And obviously, any damage can take a day or two to show itself. If you have not watered, I would probably make sure things are watered today. If it's already wet, don't water it, because that just takes away oxygen out of the soil. Water early so that the sun can warm that moisture in the ground that's there. That's what's helping to keep your plants warm. Is not that you're keeping keeping the cold from touching them. You're actually holding the earth's warm in to help to protect that. So some plants, some of the tropicals may actually this year be killed to the ground. We haven't had that in years. And so don't be in a hurry just to yank things out of the ground. Once we do warm up and get a little more seasonal, give it a chance. I mean, a lot of times they will recover from the root zone. And I'm thinking possibly your croton, hibiscus, plumbago was a mention on the Facebook page. Some of the other, your other perennials, you may be cutting those all the way to the ground, or they just, some of them give them a chance to survive and recover.
And let's squeeze in a phone call. Good morning. You're on there with Carol Ann.
Yes, good morning, Larry, Carol Ann. One quick question. Can you transplant a camellia plant this time of year from the ground to another location?
From one location to another? I wouldn't do it right here, right now, only because of this immediate cold. But yes, this would be the time of year to do that here in January to early February. Realizing that if it has bud and bloom on it now, you may lose those this year, but that's okay too. If you need to move it for it to be in a better location.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. With anything, with any of your shrubs and trees, if you need to move it because it's too close to the home, it really wasn't on the best side of the house. Maybe after Hurricane Irma, you lost some trees or your canopy's now more open, and those plants that were in the shade are now in sun, and you need to move them. January, February, into early March is a really good time to do that because we don't have the heat stresses, though you do have to keep them watered. So you do have to do the care for them, but usually they do much better on a transplant that way than, say, trying to do it in June when they're trying to grow, because at this time of year, the plant is dormant. It's not trying to make leaves. It's not trying to fruit. It's not trying to flower. It's sitting there ready to grow roots. And you always need that.
So with a couple minutes left, this is probably not really associated with the cold we are talking about, but what if we were growing vegetables?
Oh, well, actually, this morning I harvested radishes and broccoli.
And you did that before it gets cold? Because they'd be ruined in the cold?
Well, with some of them, I mean, those are cold season crops. They should be fine.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, I mean, they might get, but I did harvest some so that I didn't have to worry about it.
We might have a last-minute phone call right here. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Carol Ann?
Yes.
You were talking about the llama pellets being good. What about rabbit pellets? I was told that they were good for the soil too, and after hearing you, I guess I'm going to start composting it first.
Yes. Compost the rabbit pellets first, and they're fine. I mean, you can take if you have a hutch or anything like that, your regular clean out can just be put right into the compost pile, realizing you want to give that a little bit of time to help to break down, at least I would say 6 weeks to 3 months to compost down really well, or in a plot of the garden that you're not going to use right away, and you can add all of that in there, including the litter, and it'll be fine.
Right. But if I just put leaves in there with it and let it kind of melt down? Or
Yeah, that should take care of it. Yep, sure should.
Okay. One little thing, I was told that dogs are drawn to the pellets, the rabbit pellets, and that is a no. Don't let the dogs.
You don't want the dogs into that with any of your manure, but yeah. So.
Well, yeah, apparently Dr. Gars was the one that told me that it would kill a dog.
It's not. Yeah, you don't want them rotting in the pellets.
No, I don't. All right. Well. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed today.
You're welcome, and you have a wonderful day.
Will do. Bye.
Bye now.
Yeah, thank you for the calls. Carol Ann, thank you for doing the show. I love this part of the week.
My pleasure.
Stay warm.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see you next week when it'll be springtime.
Let's hope. All right, Larry, everybody, have a great day.